rolling here. And again, to our late arriving crowd, thank you for waiting for me. We're up, we're running, we're on. The internet is working well now, Bobby. I mean, someday, one day, we're all going to have free Wi-Fi everywhere. Like we're going to walk around as a human. You're going to get out of your car. You're going to walk to Starbucks. You're going to walk here or there. There's going to be a cloud over your individual head, not up in space where you're going to have your own Wi-Fi. You're not going to have to log in and give codes, and it's going to be a beautiful thing.
God, that would be a wonderful fantasy. For now, I would just like a bleeping computer that works when I need it.
Yes, it's called tech problems. My wife is great at tech issues as we get rolling here. All right, so here's what I want to begin with. Obviously, I'm going to begin with the Yankees and what happened to the Dodgers, because last night I got my guts pulled out again by the Yankees and the way they lost the World Series and were eliminated in the World Series in gut-wrenching fashion. And I was just losing my mind because they should have won the game easily. Now, some people say that, well, you don't have any respect for the Dodgers. And they're saying, well, you're not being fair to the Dodgers, who were the better team. No, I'm very fair to the Dodgers. The Dodgers were the better team. That doesn't mean they should have won the game last night. The Yankees had the game wrapped up. If you had little boys and girls who play T-ball, and then they go up to something called coach pitch. So after T-ball, they go to coach pitch. And then that's when the dads get on the field and they throw little balls underhand. And some of the kids need a tee. And that's okay. You give the kids a tee. And they hit off the tee. And some kids run to the wrong base. They run to third base. And all the moms laugh and they have their Starbucks and they're talking and they're all having a great time. We got some great Summerlin Little League moms where I live, right? And everybody's hanging around. And you watch the kid and then they graduate to where the kids get to pitch. Wait for that. When the kid who's 4, 5, 6 years old, now they let him pitch. That's not really a good idea. It's not really a good idea if you got to spend your Saturday with a bunch of parents watching kids not being able to pitch, but they got to learn somehow. I mean, they got to learn. What are you going to do? They can't be playing T-ball and coach pitch forever. Well, last night the Yankees played like it was bleeping coach pitch. And it was going on to adult Little League pitching and moms and dads on the field allowed to get in the way. Last night was an iconic disaster for my Yankees. I have never, I repeat, never. And in sports radio, when you can use the word never or ever, it's pretty big. That was the first time that I can remember ever that my Yankees in the World Series, not in April, May, June, July, not talking about that because the Yankees sucked for most of the year. How many times did I say, oh, the Yankees are in first place, they stink? I said that all year, and people couldn't believe that I wanted them to win in the postseason. Of course I do. Of course I do. I want the Raiders to win every game too, but it's not possible. So last night, they're up 5-0 in the fifth inning. 5-0 in the fifth inning, and they are cruising along. And I mean cruising along. This game is over. And normally you don't say that in sports. It was over. Cole was on the mound. He was unhittable. Everything was going great. And I'm watching the game with my wife. My son came home from Tempe. My other son was there. We're watching it. My wife's making a really cool dinner. We're having a good time. And I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. So let's first see how the Yankees got there. As Aaron Judge, who couldn't hit in the series, finally Judge started to heat up.
His job is to get on base for this guy. So they are standing for the captain, Aaron Judge.
The pitch to Judge, swung on and hit in the air to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It is a Judgian blast into the right center field seats. And the Yankees take an immediate 2-0 lead in this must game. All rise. Here comes the Judge.
Pretty happy at that point. Now, what's happening in this game is Judge is now alive. Finally, he has awoken. The big King Kong of Manhattan is up. And, man, he is ready to go. He's ready to go. And then Stanton, who was a bum for pretty much the entire year, Stanton decided to contribute. He had a really good World Series.
And here's Stanton. He swings and drills one to deep right. It is high. It is far. That is gone. It is a Stantonian home run.
Unbelievable there. Stanton home run, 5-0 Yankees. Game over. Take all the champagne and Budweiser and drinks and whatever, and everybody, because they have, I get this champagne that doesn't look great, but they have it all there. Get it out. Get it out. of the Dodgers locker room, put it on ice, give it away for free. You know how they give away Bobby T-shirts to the Super Bowl losing team? They ship them over to the other side of the world. They take all the beer and champagne out of the Dodger locker room. It's over. No, it's not over. Then the fifth inning came, and it'll go down as the worst fifth inning in the history of the Yankees. And the Yankees have been playing baseball well over 100 years. Well over 100 years. So Judge, who's a pretty good center fielder, had a ball hit right at him in the fifth inning, and here's what happened.
And his line to center field, charging Judge. He dropped the ball and throws to second too late. So that'd be an error on Judge. That's the first time I've seen him drop a ball.
First time I've ever seen him drop a ball. There are people gambling on the game. Right? It had nothing to do with Judge throwing the game. He dropped the fly ball, hit right to him.
Right.
He took his eye off the ball and dropped the ball in the World Series in Yankee Stadium against the Dodgers. Like, that doesn't happen. And then after that, it was just, here comes Freddie Freeman again. He ended up being the MVP of the World Series.
And now another 1-2. Freeman to center field, base hit. Edmonds going to score. Here comes Will Smith. Freddie Freeman coming through again. A 2-run single, and the Dodgers are within 2.
So that's Dodgers radio on the call. Here come the Dodgers, and it's 5-3, and everybody's still okay. I mean, Cole's on the mound. Cole's pitching really good, but then the wheels started to come off.
The pitch. Hernandez, fly ball, left center field. Judge going back, chasing after it. He's not going to get there, and one hops off the wall. Mookie scores. Here comes Freddie. Teoscar Hernandez has tied Game 5.
So at that point, it was 5-5 in the ball game, and I was losing my mind. I got up and do what I normally do. I walk out of the house. I walk into the backyard. I'm out of my mind. I can't believe this. What's going on here? How could this happen? And Judge started off the collapse. The Yankees made errors. The shortstop couldn't throw the ball to third base to get a force out, and then they hit a ground ball to first base, and Cole didn't cover first. So I tie this back up to Little League. In Little League, kids make mistakes all the time. You encourage them. You buy them ice cream after the game. You say it'll be better next time, and they go get ice cream, and they run around with their friends, and they forget it. The Yankees played their last game in Yankee Stadium, and they had all those errors in one inning, and they acted like they never played baseball. So who do you blame? I blame the manager. The manager has to have the team prepared to play better baseball. So I wanted Aaron Boone fired from day one. I know he's not going to get fired because he got to the World Series. He's a terrible manager. He is a terrible pitching manager, but that one wasn't on him. It was about a bunch of players who just forgot how to play baseball. And then the Dodgers take the lead. Mookie Betts, what a player. His third World Series with the game-winning sacrifice fly.
And what do we say Game 1 of the World Series? The stars are going to be the stars. And here's the big one in Mookie Betts. Weaver sets, kicks and fires. Betts swings, cracks a ball in the air, center field. Judge backs up. Edmund tagging from third. Here he comes. Another sacrifice fly. The Dodgers have the lead in Game 5. It's now 7-6 LA.
Dodgers radio on the call. So once they had the lead, it was over. You know, Yankees played for the long ball. They couldn't get the long ball, and it was just a matter of time. They bring in Walker Buehler. It was an Oral Hershiser moment. It was a Madison Bumgarner moment. I was hoping they'd do the same thing for Cole in Game 7 in LA. The Yankees win. They're up 5-0. They win the game. Cole looks great. You pitch him in Game 7 just to get an out or two. Not to pitch an inning, or just to get a big out. Maybe he closes the game. You bring in Garrett Cole in Los Angeles for Game 7. Never meant to be the Dodgers' final call as they win their 8th World Series.
Dave Roberts can hardly watch. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Buehler. Got him swinging. That's it. It's a World Series win for LA. They've done it. They finished the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for. A swarm of Dodgers on the right side of the infield. Grown men but children again, living out their dream.
It's amazing. Dodgers radio on the call, and the Dodgers end up winning the World Series. As I said, congratulations to the Dodgers organization. They were built to win. They played smarter and better baseball. Okay, they played smarter and better baseball, and they ended up winning because of that. So I don't have a problem with that. But the issue becomes I'm pretty upset because I wanted to win so badly because I'm a diehard fan and they weren't able to win the World Series. And you don't get to the World Series much. You don't get to the World Series much. And when you do get there, you can't play your worst baseball. You can't do that. You can't do that at all. When you get there, you got to find a way to get out there and play your best baseball, and they weren't able to do it. So I'm pretty upset by it. I commend all the Dodger fans. There are a lot of Dodger fans here out west where I'm based in Las Vegas, and we got a big national audience here. So for everybody out there, if you're a Dodger fan, take advantage of the format today and jump in. If you're a baseball fan, let's do more sports radio like I get paid to do. Okay, let's get more sports talk radio on days like this. The NBA Finals, whatever it's going to be. Let's get going, all right? I got a 2-6 Raider team. I give you a ton of Raider content. The bleeping World Series was last night. I'm pretty raw. I'm pretty emotional. Bobby knows I'm not happy about this, but I got to tell you, finally, when you think about why the Yankees ended up losing, like why could the Yankees not find a way to get it done and win? And simply for me, all you need to know about the Yankees and how they got beat, they struck out 37 times, 14 looking. They made 7 errors, 3 in Game 5, really 4, if you look at the Rizzo play that scored on an error. You hit 205 as a team. 205 as a team. 190 with runners in scoring position. See Judge, Soto, Rizzo, and Wells. The manager completely mismanaged pitching changes, pulling starters too early, leaving the bullpen completely exposed in key situations. Nestor Cortez, Tommy Canley, who came in, couldn't get an out, walked a bunch of players last night, and you let Freddie Freeman beat you on fastballs in every crucial situation. That pretty much covers it. Just pathetic. One of the worst collective team performances in World Series history. Almost like they didn't belong on the same field with LA. Cranky Yankee, hashtag. So that's where I'm going with that. Congratulations to the Dodger fans. You won that fair and square. It wasn't like you got lucky. You didn't get lucky. But you got to admit, you got a lot of help from the Yankees. Okay, you did win. No doubt about it. It's kind of like Kansas City. They beat the Raiders. They got a lot of help from the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, you don't fumble the ball. You throw it to Bowers and don't let Bowers disappear. You do a couple of things. You try to score at the end of the half instead of playing it safe. You don't go 3 and out. You know what I'm talking about here. So, Dodger fans, congratulations. And then the other thing I wanted to mention quickly is I went to Game 1 with my son. I told you the story about that. I feel better about that now because it's Thursday, right? So almost a week ago, I went to LA for Game 1. I feel better that I went to Game 1 with my son, even though they lost, because I saw a really good World Series game. And last night I saw one of the worst defensive World Series games of my life. So I'm happy I went to a really good game. The Yankees had the lead. They were 1 out away. Do you know, Bobby, if they didn't give up the grand slam to Freeman, which is pretty easy not to, you can get a pop-up, a ground out, a strikeout. You can get a lot of other things. The Yankees would have been tied 2-2 and lost that game and went back to LA, still with a chance to win, but they didn't deserve it. Los Angeles, the Dodgers, are world champions. If you want to get in on that, 702-365-9200. I'll get a couple of calls in here, and then we'll get to the Raiders and the Bengals. And I know I want to win the game against the Bengals. Anybody else? Anybody else want to win the game against the Bengals, or are we just like throwing up a white flag from a fan base here? I mean, you're trying to win these games, right? You know, I got some knuckleheads in my chat like, lose every game, lose every game, lose every game. For who? I don't know. It's just cool to say lose. It's cool to be a fan who claims to be Raider Pete or Raider Xavier or Raider Andy, and they think they're real cool saying we should lose every game. But then they want to fly around in their cars with Raider flags on, and they want to go into bars with Raider shirts on, but they want to lose. You hanging out with any of those knuckleheads lately? Oh, they're knuckleheads, and that's me being kind because I work for the team and work for the flagship. Okay, I can talk about that small minority of knucklehead fan now that is infiltrating the Raider Nation, and they're not smart enough. Yes, I'm talking about these fans. They're not smart enough to understand that it's a business. There's games. The games are on Fox, CBS, NBC, Monday Night Football. You got to play the games, and I got some Raider fans that don't even want to play the games. They literally don't want to play the games. I'm like, okay, we got a job to do. You take a break. And we'll come back to you at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and then we'll start doing our round-the-clock draft coverage. We'll start doing draft, Shador, Cam Ward. We'll pretend that the Raiders are going to get one of these quarterbacks to make those fans happy and engaged again. It's just win, baby. And the last thing I'll say on this before I get to the phones is, could you imagine Al Davis? Can you imagine walking up to Al Davis and saying, excuse me, Mr. Davis, or Mark, but I go back to Mr. Davis, and saying, what if we lose the rest of our games? We'll get blank, blank, and blank. Imagine walking up to Al Davis and doing that. No, you don't. So don't do it here. Just don't do it here. Go to all the array of great podcasts, some a lot bigger than mine. There are YouTube channels here. They got Raider fans that have much bigger following than I do on YouTube, and they'll take your calls and your suggestions on how to tank. Chris in West Oakland. You can tell I'm worked up. How are you, Chris?
I figured the cranky Yankee would be in full force today, and all I'm going to say about the Raider game, because I'm going to talk about the World Series. I'm glad you're opening up that format. Look, just go out and compete this week. Let it hang out. You know, Cincinnati, they're struggling this year, but it's not because of Burrow. Burrow's completed 70% of his passes, 15 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Their defense is awful. I think ranked 30th. This is the week you're always talking about, JT. Hey, let's go out and play fast pace. Gardner Minshew, yeah, we're not great throwing the ball, but we're even worse running the ball. Let it all hang out. Compete. What do we got to lose at this point? We're 2-6. Give it your best shot. Put the game on Minshew's shoulders. Go toe-to-toe with Burrow. Go no huddle. Just go out and compete. And I'm with you, JT. You can't tell the players and the coaching staff that are playing for their jobs and their livelihoods to go out and try to tank for a quarterback that might not even be their teammate next year if they do that. So that's all I'm going to do this week. I'm not going to predict. Just go out and play your ass off, Raiders. Show up. They've been ready to play every week. Let's see if we can get it done. But I'm with you on the World Series, man. I feel for you. And I'm envious in one way, JT. I went to all these World Series games with my dad as a kid, and you did. You know my son, Zach. Andrew, not so much as a baseball fan. Zach's been to every playoff game with me since he's been alive. Never got to go to a World Series game with one of my sons, and it looks like I'm never going to get to do that in Oakland. So, at the very least, you've got that memory to hold on to. But you're right about Aaron Boone and the Yankees. Even the Game 1, JT, that wasn't a well-played game in Game 1. Juan Soto played a single into a triple. Gleyber Torres laid a relay to second base that allowed Ohtani to go to third. But Aaron Boone, I don't know what this guy was thinking about. You go to Luke Weaver. If you're willing to go in the 8th inning, don't wait till the bases are loaded or there's a runner on third with less than 2 outs or nobody out. Go to him to start the inning if you're willing to go to him in the 8th. You're setting your closer up to fail. Then in Game 1, after only throwing 18 pitches, you don't send him out to protect the lead in the 10th inning. I think both managers in this series were buffoons. I think they have such high payrolls that eventually they get lucky and get it right. But last night, you're right, man. That's one of the worst defensive innings I've ever seen in a postseason game anywhere. A little league team would have been embarrassed by that. And I'm not going to give Garrett Cole a pass. Absolutely, you have to cover first base. But for Christ's sake, when Rizzo's fat ass got the ball, Betts was still 60 feet. He made no attempt to even run to the base. I know he expected Cole to be there. That should have been one of those balls where your first baseman fields it, waves it off to the pitcher, and says, "I got it." Mm-hmm. Then, of course, you wait till the bases are loaded, nobody out. Now you go bring in Weaver. I just think I was looking forward to them winning this game, getting back to Game 6. Now we're going to see how Roberts has always burned out his bullpen. Not to mention the pressure the Dodgers were going to have being up 3-0, and now it's 3-2 and staring down the barrel at a Game 7. So I'm with you, my friend. That was embarrassing as a baseball fan last night. And as a Yankee fan, I would be thoroughly pissed. It's one thing to lose, but to lose in Little League fashion, that's something that's going to hold over. But much like the Dodgers have done year after year before this year with their postseason failures, the Yankees are going to double down on Aaron Boone. They're going to give you that crap that the players love him, and he protects his players. And then come the playoffs next year, he's probably going to screw up the pitching staff again. But anyway, man, I feel for you. The only solace I have, I love it when the Dodgers win because every San Francisco Giants fan's head is exploding right now. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Take care, Chris.
I'll have a Modelo and a crown for you in solitude with the Yankees.
Yes. Yeah, the thing I wanted about it as just a sports fan is I wanted another game. That's all. That if they have an off day today to travel, they would have flown out today. Remember, the game ended late last night. I don't think they would have flown out. They probably would have. I think they would have took the red eye, and then they would have got into L.A. and played Game 6 in L.A. And the Yankees would have had all the momentum. If they didn't collapse, they collapsed. But they would have had all the momentum, pitching set up well. Dodgers would have been feeling the pressure. I'm not saying the Yankees would have won the World Series, but I would have had something to do on Friday night. Right? That's all I want to do as a fan in life, is have somewhere to have a Modelo, sit down and watch a game, right, with you or anybody. I want to just watch sports. Now you got all these guys who have L.A. radio shows who don't even go to the L.A. Dodger games, and now today waving a Dodger flag. Oh, my God. Sickening. Gangster Raider checking in here on the flagship. Thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. I'm trying to say what's happening to all the LA Dodger fans out there. We did it. We don't want it again. First time since 2020, and we finally completed the deal. We get a parade. The first parade we're going to have since 88. And what I want to say is you got to witness the first walk-off Grand Slam in World Series history. You know what I'm saying? So congratulations on that. You was actually there. I was supposed to get to the game, but I had to work because, you know, things that happened. I was going to get to go for free, but I didn't even get to go. But at least you was there. You got to witness the Grand Slam. And also for LA, my team beat on the Vegas Knights last night, so it was a good day for Los Angeles last night. And as far as the series go, everybody want to say the Yankees gave it away or they dropped the ball or whatever. They just pushed a superior team. The Dodgers were way better. Like you said, they was 1 out away from winning Game 1, and the Dodgers snatched victory out the mouth of defeat with that walk-off Grand Slam, the first one in World Series history. And I don't think it's hands down. You know, Freddie Freeman without Freddie Freeman, we do not win that series. And y'all should be lucky that Yankees didn't get swept. Because if it wasn't for that Game 4, they'd have got swept. They played like they did in Game 4 last night, it would have been over. But I'm glad it went 5 games, and it was a good series. Like you said, Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, and Game 5. They were all great games. Game 4 was the only one that really wasn't a good game. But game, especially that 5-0 comeback, just like I was watching it with a bunch of Dodger fans, and they were all worried when we went down 5-0. I said, it's still early. Really relax. You know what I'm saying? Come back. And I said, I predicted we was going to win 7-5, but we ended up winning 7-6. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to bet you, but I couldn't get in a couple of days because I was here at work trying to sneak on the call. But I still got your shirt for the Raider Riders, my club out here.
Good. Look forward to it. I'll see you there at the Torch, man. Hey, congratulations, man. Congratulations to all the Dodger fans there. You know, I'm cranky Yankee. If they would have won, I would have been pretty excited and all that. But that's what sports is about. You know, that's why I get so angered about the Chiefs. You hear my passion for the Yankees, right? My boyhood team. Raiders weren't my boyhood team. I've been with the team close to 27 years. So you know my passion for the Raiders. I don't have to sell that to you. You know it. I live it. Black hole, everything. And when the Raiders don't get to the playoffs, they're not going to get to the Super Bowl. And I got to sit here and watch Kansas City get to the Super Bowl and win it. That's what I've been going through now, man. I'm not in a good place. I'm not in a good place mentally with Kansas City trying to run our town in Vegas with all their bull crap. The nightclubs, everybody coming here. They're golfing on our golf courses. They're winning Super Bowls in our building. You know, all this stuff. I'm not in a good place. I'm not in a dark place. Never been there. But in sports, I'm in a pretty low spot right now, and I got a radio show to talk about it. And again, I'm not doing cheeseburgers and movies. There's some days you're going to say, man, I'm not into it. Man, he's talking about his team's losing. But I'm going to try to always be positive and optimistic that things are going to get better. Monologue brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. 2 great happy hours, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. They own the Stratosphere, Arizona Charlie's, the Laughlin Entertainment Center. I love the brand new location that I love. I just love everything that they're doing now. We are locked in. Great American Pub and what they do there, their new location right off Buffalo. Happy Halloween to everyone. Be careful with the kids and the cars and the kids in the cars. Let the kids have a blast. Happy Halloween to the Raider Nation. All right. Bobby, you got people wearing costumes in the building today, Bobby. That's got to make you all happy and cheery.
This is my costume.
Yeah, that is.
We worked an underpaid radio producer.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Everyone's wearing costumes today.
So am I. Can't you tell?
I can tell. Sorry it took so long to get on here today. I think we lost some people coming in because He didn't have any Wi-Fi. It just started spinning. We got the chat up, ready to go. I'm going to get into the Raiders. We got Vince Sapienza, Lee Sterling, who was 1-2 in a losing week. 1-2. Crush that like button, please, as Big D says. Got a good Chris in West Oakland call. Gangster Raider. What else? Let's see what we got in the chat. Oakland. You know, I don't talk much about the Oakland A's in Vegas because I doubt it's going to happen. It might happen 2028, but there doesn't seem to be a passion right now. But I got some friends who work for the A's. And as I said, if they get a new owner, you know, I'm open to anything. This owner, John Fisher, is not a good owner. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. Who's this idiot Red Hulk saying, tell Davis to stop selling tickets to outside teams? You really think that Davis is selling tickets to outside teams? You really believe that? Red Hulk 05, or are you just trying to be a wise ass? We've been dealing with a lot of wise asses lately, Bobby. My son likes when I directly address that.
I had Buddy call back a couple of times. I hung up on him.
Oh, today? Yeah. Get him on hold for me.
Yeah, next time he calls back, I don't know if he will. I use some colorful metaphors.
Bobby, make sure this spot here, is there a number in this spot?
Yeah.
Write it down. We need to redo one. We got to do one. It's running way too much.
Okay, it's gonna be Getsy coming back talking about Bowers. We go get Vince. Raider Nation, what's your name?
All right.
Oh, look at you. Yeah, call him back 2 minutes before the fucking show. It's your fucking buddy. It's that fucking little thigh buddy of yours.
Live stream.
Nobody is on.
All right. Can you please just kind of keep the language to a respectable minimum? See, we don't have the software, the software that you love with the phone numbers on them. Bobby, you got to get that. We're doing Vince Sapienza.
Yep.
Now, there's some lame-ass shows today doing what's your favorite Halloween candy. I heard one of those on the ride in.
Hey, Vince is Bobby. How you doing?
Big D, you catch that Bobby bomb? Are we going to call that now? Snow Raider, a Bobby bomb? I like that, a Bobby bomb. Yes. That kind of describes Bobby, a Bobby bomb. Every once in a while. Yep. They used to call him the Unibobby. I got a new nickname. They call me the Bricktator on YouTube. Wow, it's snowing in Green Bay. Snowing. I would not like to live in a place where it snows in October. I mean, once in we've had snow out here. Yeah, like Boston or Green Bay or Wisconsin. Yes, I did vote. I voted yesterday. That's my business, but I did vote. Or 2 days ago, excuse me.
All right, this is all set. This is Getsy.
Welcome to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's the name of this game, right? Your best players got to play their best, and if you're going to play the two-time reigning world champions, you got to make sure that your best players are doing what they do, and so that's important always, and that's always going to be a focus of what we do.
That's Luke Getsy getting a little bit of heat. Every offensive coordinator gets heat when they only have 2 wins. Everyone. So not Luke Getsy. Sometimes we live in a bubble. We think everything that I say or our guests say is Raiders. No, it's every team in the league. Every team in the league that has got 2 or 3 wins. There's coaches on the hot seat. There's coaches that need to perform. That's life. It will never change in the NFL. Vince Sapienza, he's now hosting our morning show on the flagship here, also from Fox 5, everything he does around town. And we welcome him in here in his usual spot every 2 weeks at this time. You know, I'm Cranky Yankee. I know you watch some baseball at home. Man, have you ever seen a worse fifth inning in your life, including Little League, where I think Jax is playing it at this point? That was the worst. That was T-ball, coach pitch, all mixed into one in the Bronx.
You know, JT, I didn't want you to hear my phone just in case I uttered the word JT. I didn't want Siri to accidentally text or call you. I felt for you. I felt for all the Yankee fans because that was rough. I know, whether you love or hate the Yankees or Dodgers, that was rough no matter how you slice it. I think Aaron Cole called it as bad as it gets. I think it's worse than that.
Yeah, well, it was that bad.
That's a tough night, but what a game it turned out to be in the grand scheme of things. And boy, I can only imagine Fox is popping some champagne over whatever their numbers must have been.
Absolutely, no doubt. Vince Sapienza, part of the Fox 5 family. So you just heard the Luke Getsy soundbite. And look, you've interviewed him. I've interviewed him. I see him in the hallway. Great guy. They're all great guys. They really are. But the fans at times don't understand that they're human beings. They got wives and kids, and they moved here, and they're going to new schools and all that. We do. I just like to see Luke Getsy figure out a play that this team can run when they have to get a play to score. They don't have one, and I can prove this because not only are you at every game and I'm at every game, well, every home game, they don't seem to have a play prepared that they know they can run on the 3, 5, 7 yard line that works. It's called a set play, a signature play. We're halfway through the season. You and I and all the fans listening have no idea what that play is.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And the other thing we talked about, I think, over the last couple of weeks is urgency, right? There's just not a lot of urgency or pace to the offense. Even when they get in a rhythm, it seems very slow, they seem to reset every time, like they're taking a breath, like, okay, that worked, or okay, that didn't work. Let's reset. So there's, even when they've been in a flow, there's been no rhythm to it. And I guess here's the thing I would say with Luke Getsy, and I know he's kind of been the fall guy of late, and it's not hard to understand why. He tells us his preferred place to call the games is on the sideline. Antonio Pierce a couple weeks ago moved him up into the booth. So you know they're trying different things. And the one thing about Luke Getsy is I keep hearing from fans, I wish he would get creative. I wish he would try different things. Well, that might be the problem with Luke Getsy. He might be trying too much stuff. You heard on Monday Antonio Pierce talking about, it's okay to run the same play if it works. Like, run it into the ground until it doesn't. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs do that how many times? A dozen times at least against the Raiders on Sunday. They've made a living off running the exact same plays. Why? Because you can't defend it. Because you have guys like Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Well, the Raiders, while they might be deficient in a lot of areas compared to other teams, they got Brock Bowers. Get him the ball. Throw him the ball. I don't think you can over-target Brock Bowers at this point in the season. The Raiders can't afford to, and he's too good to. Whether he's in single-man coverage, whether he's in zone, he's beating it all. All you have to do is get it to him, target him, throw it to him. Now, that's the other part of the coin, the other side of the coin we don't know. We don't know what plays are being called for Brock Bowers and what Gardner Minshew is not executing well enough. So everybody may sit there and say, well, you're not dialing up enough plays for Brock Bowers. We're not in the huddle. We have no idea what's being called. We had Marcus Johnson, Tape Don't Lie, on a couple of weeks ago, and he basically sat there and said, broke down the tape and said exactly what I saw when I looked back at the tape. Brock Bowers is running open on half a dozen to a dozen plays, and he's not even looked at. That's the problem. So you can say, well, you're not scheming up a plan enough for Brock Bowers, or you can sit there and say the other side of the coin, the offense just isn't executing. The line isn't blocking long enough. Gardner isn't going through his reads, or he's getting too squirrely in the pocket and going off his read and taking the sack or running out of the pocket. So it's not just one thing. I knew Luke gets the guy to pick on this season for whatever reason that is, whether it was his time in Chicago or what have you. But right now, it's more than just the play calling. It's the execution and for talent on offense.
Vince Sapienza is our guest, and That you're right. You nailed everything you said. You nailed everything you said about running the plays that work and what they can do. Here's the tough part about Luke Getsy that Josh McDaniels didn't have. Josh McDaniels had a team at full strength, right? He had Michael Mayer, he had Darren Waller. You look at the players that he had, Hunter Renfroe, they decided not to go with, but they had a Jacoby Myers. They had a team at full strength, and Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't get the job done. And they had a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, who, got thrown into the fire. I get all that, and Josh McDaniels got fired. Luke Getsy, I'm not making an excuse for him. Devontae didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here. So I don't know what the practices were like. Devontae is a pro. He's a future gold jacket. So I'm going to assume that when Devontae was there, he practiced, and him and Luke Getsy had a relationship from Green Bay. He's got Michael Mayer not available. He's got running backs that can't hit the hole because the offensive line is injured and not being able to block. Again, Michael Mayer not available. So when everybody's sitting here cracking Luke Getsy, and it's fair game, look at what he's dealing with. And then the quarterback in some of these games, the play call's right, and the quarterback is just making a terrible physical and mental mistake. And everybody wants to blame the OC. I get it. But you got to blame some of the players for not executing.
I completely agree. And I'll give you one more example. After the Trayvon Merrick pick, right, they get down to the 3-yard line. There has to be a plan in place. And this is my opinion. Again, I'm not in the huddle. I wasn't in the meeting rooms when they went through these scenarios. But just from my bird's eye view, there did not look to be a plan. They get 2 yards on the first and goal. They get stuffed on the next one. They get pushed back 2 more yards. If there was no creativity, like, okay, if we're going to go for it on 4th and goal, if we don't get in, let's mix in some play action. Let's mix up some motion to make it think like Brock Bowers is going to get the ball. Let's split them out wide. Let's do different things. So that's where I can sit there and say, fans are going to crack on Luke Getsy about not being creative or giving different looks. Sure, fine. All that's great. But to your point, I think that's fantastic in terms of Davante Adams. Nobody was more excited when Luke Getsy was hired than Davante Adams because of his playbook, because of the success they had together in Green Bay. Davante thought he was going to eat, and Davante thought they were going to feast on opposing defenses because he had a tried and true playbook. Davante wanted out. That's not on Luke Getsy. They had a great relationship. It's more than just that. You had a quarterback that cannot get him the ball, would not push the ball down the field for one reason or another. Either didn't see it or made the wrong decision to not do it. So the other part to all this, and people keep forgetting this part on Luke Getsy, is the running game. JT, it's non-existent. 1.8 yards per carry. I don't care if it's Madison. I don't care if it's Zamir White. It doesn't matter. They're not winning the point of contact. They're not winning the offensive, the line of scrimmage. It's not happening. No matter what iteration of the offensive line, the 5 guys they put in there. They put in Thayer Mumford and Andrews Pete multiple times in jumbo packages just to try and create some kind of push. They are getting beat off the ball on a consistent basis. That it doesn't matter who the quarterback is or the running back. There's not enough time, even if you dial up the perfect play. So that's why I sit there and said I've been shouting it on the morning show for the last couple of weeks. It's not just one thing. And while fans have the right to point the finger at whoever they want, that's their deal. But I'm here to tell you, someone who sees it firsthand, watches the games over, takes notes, and looks at it, it is a myriad of things that creates a recipe for disaster, which is why the team is sitting there 2-6.
He is taking over the Vegas media world and vast media platforms. See, when we started together in LA, there was no such word as platform. Now it's all platforms. Now we're on multiple platforms. Good to talk to you, my friends. And what about the kids tonight for Halloween? You got the kids at the perfect age for Halloween. I'm seeing a picture right now my wife sent me from 2015, 9 years ago. My son is the skeleton. My oldest son dressed up as Drake with the Drake beard. So what are the kids wearing tonight?
Well, JT, as you know, Jack is 8 years old today. He's a Halloween baby, and it's crazy to think that we've been here now 8 years in Vegas. So he's going to be Mario with the mustache, riding Yoshi. Witch from Focus. And then I, of course, am going to my tried and true costume of Cousin from Christmas Vacation.
Have a great time with the kids on Halloween. Take care, buddy. That's Vince Sapienza. Catch him in the morning here on Raider Nation Radio. Catch him at night on Fox 5. When we come back, and that was brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. We're fighting here, man. We're fighting for a win at Cincinnati. And the incredible moments I had with my sons when on Halloween, when we mostly lived in LA, in Sherman Oaks, our neighborhood was vibrant with trick-or-treaters. Bobby, the real question tonight is, will I turn off the lights or turn on the lights? My wife, she laughs at me like that. We got plans tonight, but the kids are home, so they'll hand out candy.
It's unnecessary roughness.
Whoa. All right. Nothing like having kids between that age of, 2, 3, toddlers up to 12 that can go out on Halloween, man. Take advantage of that. Life moves by fast, man. You got to enjoy those moments. Right, back in Salem, Mass, or
Don't ask me about Salem, Mass and Halloween. You really want that story?
Yep.
Everybody I know back home hasn't been able to have parking for 2 weeks. The town is mobbed.
Is it mobbed? Wow.
20,000 population right now. They got about 100,000.
Wow. All right. Bobby's left the room. Bobby gets his cigarette breaks. Bobby smokes sticks, man. So sometimes the phone rings, he doesn't pick it up because he's having a dart. He needs his darts, man. It's all right. Yeah, I'm surprised there's not a lot of trick plays for the Raiders. Look, the teams that aren't able to do that don't have the personnel to do it. I'd like to see Jacoby Myers throw it a little bit more because he was a quarterback. I would think that would be. And as Arnie Garza says, you got to start Desmond Ridder in this game just because of Cincinnati, man. You got to do that. You got to do that and let him play in the Cincinnati game. We might not be back in Cincinnati in 4, 6, 7 years. Hey, Big D, do you have a good hot wing sauce? You make the best salsa I've ever had. No debate, the Big Dig salsa. Wife needs a hot wings recipe. Hot wings. Remember, I'm a blue cheese guy, no ranch. It's got to be blue cheese, and it's got to be hot. I don't do medium, but I really need a nice hot wing sauce. You take the wings, you cook them, you put them in the sauce, some hot wings. Big D never made wing sauce. Okay. I had coffee today with Alex DeCastaverde, our client, our partner. So I want to get in a nice live read with him. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com.
The open border is one of the largest forces driving up costs of basic necessities. Each illegal immigrant costs taxpayers nearly $9,000 per year, according to the Federation for American Immigration Reform. All right, Lee Sterling, here's what he's going to give you for free. And then if you want to pay for his picks, last week he's got Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Detroit, Green Bay. And tonight he's got the Jet Houston game.
Yeah, it's Bobby. My man, I'll get up with JT. Give me about a minute and a half. Not a problem. He's all set. There's going to be another Getsy coming back.
You got Crack at 1:30. Bill Krakenberger at 1:30. Man, my favorite gambling guest along with Lee. So stick around for that.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you find millions of parts Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusive supply.
That's about
Farmers HVAC, DIYers, and construction pros. McFadden Industrial Hardware has everything you need for your next project. Open early at South Decatur and Russell. McFadden Industrial Hardware, your one-stop shop to get the job done. McFadden Dale Industrial Hardware. Get in, get out, and get to work. Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley.
All right, let's do this.
And please bet responsibly.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Well, I think, this league, anytime you're in this league, it's a challenge. You have great players on every team, so every down, every first down, every touchdown is hard to get. And I think that's no different this year to any other year. I think, we're in a new system. We got the new players, first-time head coach. We're all working together to get this thing, to get this ship righted, to get this thing going in the same direction. And, it's a process that continues to improve, the game day communication, the practice, the way we practice and the expectations every single day and on the game day and all that stuff. I think all of that stuff is just continue to get better. And I think that's the challenge. Anytime you're a new operation, you have a lot of things to work through. And I think, I just see us getting better each and every week as we go through these processes.
Well, Luke Getzey thinks they're going to get better each and every week. I don't see it yet with the offense. Lee Sterling joins us from Paramount Sports, coming up a 1-2 week. He's ready to bounce back. Hey, Lee, one thing about you, the offensive coordinators, the defense coordinators, the play callers. You just don't look at a game and say this. You know how the tree works with the coaches, especially going into big college and pro matchups.
You have to know it, and you have to know who's holding a grudge. For instance, Manny Diaz got fired by Miami before he went to Penn State. Now he's at Duke. You don't think he's going to prepare for a game against his old team that he coached and also his hometown? Well, if you're going against Duke here, you're probably going to be on the wrong side.
ParamountSports.com. Go to the picks, ParamountSports.com. All right, Oregon, Michigan. Oregon -15. They took on my wife's Fighting Illini and destroyed them. And I thought Illinois was a pretty good team. Michigan is not the national champion. They're the reigning national champ. But why such a big drop-off there? And are there any games that Michigan's going to get up for and maybe shock the world?
Well, they controlled the line of scrimmage, and they won last week at Michigan State. Actually, an improved team. Oregon is really talented, but now they got to go on the road. Got to play the last two games at home against Ohio State and against Illinois. Now they're going to face a team just as strong as they are in the trenches. Maybe not as strong as the skill position level, but they're good on special teams. And you go on the road in the Big Ten, they're going to find out what big boy football is all about. So you think they're just going to run the table, go into this thing ranked number 1, undefeated? I think you got something else coming if you're following Big Ten and big boy football. So I think Oregon will win the game. They just have too many weapons here, but maybe a trick play or a special teams play keeps it close here. Oregon wins the game 27-17, but Wolverines cover.
Michigan covers versus the number 1 team in America, the Ohio State at Penn State. Is Penn State going to win a big game? I mean, I know they're very good. They recruit well. They're in all these games. Franklin needs signature wins, especially. I don't know if it's going to be a whiteout or not, but then going into Happy Valley, Big Noon's going to be their kickoff. It's a massive game for Penn State to show that they belong at the end of the year. I guess it's Ohio State -3.5. The Hooks in play.
So I've been going against Shane Franklin for years. I mean, he just, once you get to a big game, just tightens up. I mean, there is no creative play calling. But I did notice a change in the game at USC. They were down 2 touchdowns, and you know what? Opened up the playbook, a couple trick plays, and they were able to shut down the USC passing game, which has a really good quarterback, and they got receivers. A couple guys are going to be playing at the next level. Now, Ohio State's a little bit different challenge. They have 2 guys that are going to be first-round picks, but I think where Penn State has a chance is up front. All of a sudden, Ohio State can't run the football. They might be down to their 3rd-string offensive tackle. This Penn State front 7 might be top 2, top 3 in college football. Last weekend, Ohio State, the best 2 running backs was Sean Jenkins and also Trevian Henderson. They were held to a combined 54 rushing yards on 20 carries against Nebraska. Off the bye, they couldn't get up for it. So maybe Ohio State is not who we thought they were here. Unless they can hit on some big plays down the field to the receivers, I think they're in trouble. Wrong team favorite.
Whoa!
Penn State 27-23.
Straight up, Lee Sterling, Penn State at home. And here's a little nugget. I'm watching ESPN in studio. I see snow coming down in Green Bay. All right, the Jared Goff numbers outside are brutal. And inside, I don't think they even played an outdoor game this year. Dome games. Well, I want to see what Detroit does. -3.5. Green Bay. It feels like this is the game Green Bay has circled this year.
So, you look at Jared Goff, and when he's in that perfect situation, he's got weapons. Now, all of a sudden, and 3 of the last 4 games, they've scored 42, 47, and 52. What was the game where they could score big and they only won by 2 points in inter-division game? So now they got to play another division opponent here. They're going to face a Green Bay team that might get back their star cornerback, Alexander. I don't care who plays quarterback, Jordan Love or Malik Willis. Malik Willis is 2-0 as a starter. 1-0 when they were down in that game. So this is a defense that swarms to the ball at home here. Like I said, playing outside, well, the only time he's done it hasn't happened yet. So they got some big problems here. They're not going to roll through this schedule and lose one game. They're going to lose 3 or 4. It always happens in the NFL here. And they also have a problem here on the defensive line. They're playing without their star Hutchinson. And it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th games where teams are going to take advantage of it here. Another home team favorite, Green Bay outright 28-26.
Wow, I like that. I picked Detroit to win the Super Bowl. I'll still stand with that, but I agree with Lee. They're going to lose some games. Tonight's your game of the week here. I know you have a close family member who's a Jet fan. How in God's name are the Jets favored in a parking lot, at home, or on the road? Or anyway, they are falling apart. But you got some information here that you shared with me, and we want to share with our audience. How do we get this game, Jets-Houston?
So my daughter, who's going to be living with, the boy's name is Blake. He's a big Jets fan, the biggest you've ever seen. Literally will lay on the floor for a half hour after they lose. She bought him a ticket to the Jets game, but he had to wear a clown's red nose for the game. So if you spot someone with a big red nose, his name is Blake, and you want to get that game for free. Jets and Houston, a little bit of a preview. Games that he's gone to, JT, they've lost 12 straight times. You talk about a mush. You want to get Jets Houston, call 800-400-9741, get the game for free. We're on a roll. We've won 7 of 9 weeks. We won in September, 1 in October. We don't call it November here. We call it Dovember. You can get 5 weeks of action, normally $597, just $397. One place, ParamountSports.com.
Dovember, it's back. Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much.
All right, JT.
ParamountSports.com. Very quickly, that's Lee Sterling. Man, he gave you a couple outright upsets there. Had coffee today with Alex DeCastroverde. You hear me talk about the DeCastroverde Law Group. Brothers Win. BrothersWin.com. You see everything around town with them. A legacy, tremendous law group. Their father's vision. Now Orlando and Alex do an unbelievable job. Just check their Google reviews. Watch their videos on their site. It's amazing. I tell you, put their number in your phone in case you need them. You might never need them. 99% of people who hear me, I hope you never need them. But if you do, it's 702-222-9999. The brothers have your back. They got beautiful offices downtown, Tivoli Village, and they do it all. They've recovered hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. They're involved in the community. And as we talked today, Alex told me about how Nevada has done so much for their family because their father and mom came over as immigrants. And he does immigration law and helps out a lot of people. And he's heavily involved here with the community because of trust. He trusts the community and they trust him. So I'm just telling you, I call my partners for a reason. This guy's special. And we spent about 45 minutes this morning down on Town Center, on the beautiful part of town, over here in Summerlin, right by the Summerlin Parkway, had a nice cup of coffee and talked about our partnership. And it's a big one for us because there's a lot of law firms out here that tell you how great they are. I'm not telling you how great he is. I'm telling you, he's a great guy and he wants to help if you need him. The DeCastroverde Law Group, the brothers win. The brothers have your back. BrothersWin.com. Special treat on Halloween. Bill Krakenberger at the bottom of next hour. Hey, jump on my YouTube page now. I'm going to do a must-listen monologue at JT the Brick YT right here at the top of the hour. All right, we're going to fuel up, a little bit of water. I'm going to go crazy now. I'm going to go big. So start telling people to get in this right now. Send out a text to your buddies. Get in here. I'm going to give you a full Raiders Cincinnati preview. Okay, we're going to go big. I'm going to put my foot down. Got to win this game. You know, the Bengals haven't won at home this year. All right, let's go. Let's get this going. Fabian, throw out the text let them know I'm coming in big. We don't do any vanilla radio here. Free access to instruments, music lessons, and studio resources. Posters drop October 20th with a new design available November 3rd. So post up your combo with Cane's while supplies last and support a great cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
College basketball's opening night returns to Las Vegas as the Hall of Fame Series comes back to T-Mobile Arena on November 4th. Catch defending national champions South Carolina women take on Michigan, followed by a thrilling men's matchup between Ohio State and Texas. 2 epic games, one incredible night to start the season. You will not want to miss Don Staley's South Carolina squad starting their quest for a second straight title. Get your tickets now at HOFseries.com. That's HOFseries.com.
Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort Casino is the place to catch all of the action. Join the party every Sunday inside the International Theater at the Westgate with lots of room to watch all of the games on the 11 giant HD screens. Free admission with a guaranteed seat in the smoke-free theater. Great specials on drinks, buckets of beer, and food specials, plus playing stations right outside the theater. Don't miss it. The best place to watch all the games is at the Superbook in the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Great cities are built on strong foundations. The skilled members of Laborers Local 872 never stop building. From the asphalt on our roads, the concrete in our buildings, the solar fields powering the economy, and everything in between to work safely. Laborers Local 872 is modernizing the Nevada workforce and building a global city. The future is union strong.
Hi, I'm Miley O'Keefe. In competitive gymnastics, flexibility and precision are crucial, and Les Olson IT knows how important flexibility and precision are to your business. It's why they deliver the very best IT security, office equipment, collaborative technology, and so much more.
The coach to go out and do that. So, indirectly, I'll grab a pen from you, please.
Sure.
Yep.
It ain't on there yet. I don't have it. Let's print it up there.
Yep. Is this from yesterday?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
from yesterday.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Self-insured business for over 20 years. Whether your business is retail, trucking, building, agriculture, or auto, our team has the expertise to make sure.
Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. Happy Halloween. Congrats to the Dodger fans. I'm not happy about my Yankees losing, cranky Yankee, all that. We know that. Baseball is over now. Baseball is over. It's on to the NBA. I believe in general, the NBA product sucks in October and November. It sucks because the guys aren't in shape. They take too many threes. The NBA starts on Christmas Day. That's when they pay attention. Or that little stupid trophy. What's the name of that cute trophy they have? What's the name of that trophy to start the season off? That little cute trophy that embarrassing the Lakers hung that banner last year.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Philly Cadillac Performance Studio. Raiders bring a blitz. He takes him off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby. Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years. Over to the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders. And now, here's JT the.
All right, it's hour number 2 of the show, live from Lotus Broadcasting. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. I live in Vegas. It's a vibrant Halloween community for adults and children. We don't live in casinos. My address is not on the 19th floor of a casino. I live in a suburb, and we want the kids to be careful tonight. Want you to be careful with the kids. It's dark out. This town has a bunch of lunatic drivers, lunatics that go down the streets and blow through stop signs and whatever. So be careful today. I always say that every year. Always be careful, but be extra careful tonight as you take the kids out trick-or-treating, and have a good day here. I'll get to the Raiders momentarily. Final call for the Dodgers. The Dodgers win the World Series over my Yankees in impressive fashion. They do it in New York in Game 5.
Dave Roberts can hardly watch. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Bueller. Got him swinging! That's it! It's a World Series win for LA! They've done it! They finished the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for! A swarm of Dodgers on the right side of the infield. Grown men but children again, living out their dream.
Dodgers radio on the call. The Dodgers end up winning. I'm a little bit bitter because I thought the Yankees. Here's the Aaron Judge era. He made an error in the 5th inning. The ball was hit right to him. I think if he catches this ball, nothing happens and the Yankees win. Yeah, I'm going to make it that way. Cole was moving along beautifully. The game was completely in hand for the Yankees until this happened.
And it's line to center field, charging Judge. He dropped the ball and throws to second too late. So that'd be an error on Judge. That's the first time I've seen him drop a ball.
His first error. And he does it there in the World Series. And what a shame for Judge. He started getting going. He started hitting. Shoulda, coulda, woulda radio. How great would the Yankees have been flying back to L.A. with 2 games in a row? All the momentum with Judge hitting and Soto hitting and Stanton hitting. I think they would have had a puncher's chance to come from behind. Now they're a footnote. It's over. The Dodgers win. Congratulations to the Dodger fans who are out there. I don't know why I don't have Dodger fans on hold. I mean, what the hell am I doing here? What am I doing here? I'm a sports talk host. Well, what are we doing? Are there Dodger fans in Vegas? We're pretty big with our streaming numbers in California. Aren't there Raider fans who are Dodger fans? I mean, we're going to waste the rest of this day? Let's go. We're a national radio show, man. Dodgers win. It's the World Series. Sound off like you got a pair. 702-365-9200. So we're on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. You get in here, you watch me blow a gasket every once in a while, get upset. I told Bobby before the show, we're going to be doing less and less of that. For those who tune in, as Bobby gives me the okay sign, like, sure. No, there's going to be less and less of that because the team's 2-6. If the team was 4-4, which they easily should be, if they beat Carolina, the worst team in football, they'd be 3-5. One of the games where they had a lead, including Kansas City, Denver, Pittsburgh, in one of those games they would have won 4-4. And I remember the shows. I thought we'd be 4-4. That's what I thought. I didn't say the Raiders would win 10 or 11 games. I thought they'd be 4-4, and they're not. They're 2-6. But I'm not sitting here saying the season's over. God forbid. You're not hearing me talk playoffs, but I don't want to be the fuel on the fire where people hear me and go, man, did you hear JT said the season's over? No. I get a paycheck from that team, and people get mad that I get paid, and I have a job. People would rather see me homeless, not have a job, not have a radio show, not have a podcast, and say, JT, you're a better fan, man, because you wanted the team to lose. It'll never happen. I want them to win every game, every time they take the field. So a couple of things here with Cincinnati. I got a lot of notes from yesterday. We did a lot yesterday exactly on what this team needs to do. I had all the stats here in front of me. And what I noticed was, first off, Cincinnati's 0-4 at home. They're not playing well. But they do have Jamar Chase, who leads the league in reception yards, because Brock Bowers leads the league in receptions. How about that? And touchdowns. He's a nightmare. But there is some good news there. We have 2 guys that can run with Jamar Chase. That would be Jack Jones. Jack Jones can do that. And Jacorian Bennett's having a hell of a year. He really is. So the Raiders' third down defense was pretty good until Kansas City. They had some struggles. Their defense really let them down in the last game. They were 12 of 16 Kansas City on third down. So before you want to crown the Raiders' defense, well, it's not the defense's fault. Oh, yes, it is. against Kansas City, they allowed 12 of 16 on third down conversions. That's awful. That's god awful. The middle of the field was open. And did I remind you? Did I remind you that they didn't guard Kelsey again? How the hell did that happen? I mean, they listened to my show in the building. I walk by the desk, it's on. How do you not guard Kelsey? What am I doing? Why every year do I say it? Bobby's shaking his head. Why every year do I say guard Kelsey, put your hands on him? And get this, I'm not making this up. They literally didn't guard Kelsey, and they didn't put their hands on him. Now, wait a second. If they put their hands on him, and then Kelsey had a great game, I'd be like, okay, they put their hands on him, they tried him, Kelsey made plays. They didn't even try. They let him do what I call run like a doe in the forest. Let him just go hang around the middle of the field. And no one saw Travis Kelsey. Let me remind you, he's the guy who's dating Taylor Swift. He's the guy with the podcast with his brother. How'd we lose him? How'd we lose him? I mean, what was going on there? How could that be acceptable to let Kelsey run free and not guard him? Before you think you're smarter than me, which you are, if you're a football player or a coach, you're a lot smarter than me, or a Hall of Famer or a former player who talked to me often, did you really think a zone was going to work with Travis Kelsey with the personnel we have? Really? Like that went through a week of meetings and it was like, okay, we're going to zone up Kelsey, and no one raised their hand and said, no, wait a second. Aren't we going to double team him and put someone's hands on him? No, that didn't happen. That was really disappointing to me. I mean, why did I spend the whole week saying guard Kelsey if no one guarded him? So I apologize. I personally apologize. Blame me, because I said guard Kelsey and they didn't guard Kelsey. Now I'm saying you got to guard Jamar Chase. He's hard. He's big. Like he's a young Devontae Adams, Randy Moss. He is. That's the comp. A younger Randy Moss, Devontae. So the problem with him is he's got a great double move. Problem with him is he runs routes over the middle of the field. Problem with him is he can catch the fade and he can do the toe tap on the sideline. He's a beast. So you got to double team this guy. And depending on the status of T. Higgins, double teaming Jamar Chase is evident. You have to do it. So that would be Trayvon Merrick or Isaiah Palomal, along with Jacorian Bennett or Jack, whatever side he's on. Do we have that? Do we understand that concept? We're going to double team Jamar Chase every play. No, we're not going to take a play off and do something else. We're going to double team Jamar Chase. We're not going to put him in a kind of a weak zone. We're not going to let him run free like Kelsey. We're going to double team him. And then if they beat us with someone else, we're good. We're not going to let Jamar Chase just tear you up. He's really, really good. Also, the Bengals offense on third down, they converted 10 of 13 on third down against the Eagles. Ooh, 10 of 13. After Kansas City just did us for 12 of 16. The Bengals are ranked 5th in third down offense. Keep an eye on that. Burrow's really good. The only team to efficiently stop the Bengals on third down was the Browns, and the Bengals won that game. The Browns held the Bengals to 2 of 13 on third down, and the Raiders beat the Browns. Keep an eye on Trey Hendrickson. We're talking Max. They have Trey. He's 9th in tackles for losses. He's 5th in sacks with 7. He's got a half a sack more than Max. Max has got 11 quarterback hits, 6 hurries. Hendrickson has 8 quarterback hits, 5 hurries. They're pretty much the same player. I give the edge, obviously, to Max because he doesn't come out of the game. So we'll see what happens. When it comes to Max versus Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow's been sacked 19 times this season. He's been pressured 40 times. 40. I mean, the Raiders should be able to get to him. And I mentioned the fact that now Jacoby Myers is going to go up against Cam Taylor-Britt. Myers has 67% contested catch rate, 6 of 9, forced the ball to him. And then obviously the last thing I want to mention again until I'm blue in the face, broken record, whatever term you use, is that we cannot let Brock Bowers down again. They let him down last week. They stopped throwing to him. And he went through a span where he didn't get the ball for a long period of time. That is absolutely inexcusable. If you got a grade on a test of Brock Bowers, you got a D. You can get an F, you got a D. and they got him the ball early. You know what was crazy about last game? They got him the ball early, and his first 3 catches were first downs. Who thought of not getting him the ball the rest of the game? Like, what is going on? Now, you can't tell me, you can't look me in the eye and say, JT, the coverage changed. No, it didn't. It's Steve Spagnuolo. He wins Super Bowls. You find a way to put Brock in motion. You line him up as a running back. You split him out wide. Will this be the first game where Brock catches a fade in the end zone? The Raiders had first and goal at the 3. They ran the ball and got it down to the 1. And then they went to Brock, or Brock would have got the ball on 4th down, but the quarterback in the shotgun faded back and just fell down like a house of cards, and Brock was open and didn't get the ball. Why aren't we running 3-step, quick, assassin bullets to Brock? Why isn't Brock in the slot running a head fake like Hunter, a cut over the middle, 2 yards? Now, don't tell me we don't have time to throw that ball. I just gave you how. We're going to be in the shotgun. Ball's going to come out 2 seconds. Why aren't we running those plays more? So am I saying Brock needs to get it 15 times a game? Yes. Yeah. I just said it. I just told you that. He needs it 15 times a game. That's all. We, the Raider Nation, are a 2-6 team. 2 wins, 6 losses. There's no more excuses on not opening up the offense, not playing faster, not getting the ball to Brock. You're going to lose games the rest of the way? Absolutely. I don't know which ones they'll win or lose. But they're facing a team that hasn't won at home this year. And this doesn't make me nervous, but this is what's concerning to me. The Raiders, I thought, since they moved to Vegas, and all the time, even in Oakland when they came off a bad year, they're always supposed to be getting better. That's why you have a draft and free agency. And I'm really encouraged for next year, but I don't want to go too early on this because we got a lot of money next year. And we're going to have high draft picks next year, right? That's a lock. I don't know where the pick's going to be, but it's going to be pretty high. And we're going to have a lot of money. So we're bringing in a completely new team, most likely. Goodbye. Goodbye to the players who don't play strong down the stretch. Max is good. Max is looking at everybody in practice. For those who don't want to tackle, which aren't many, they all tackle pretty well. For those who don't want to play like Spillane, injured, right? Because watch out. Raiders don't have this problem. But if a bunch of guys go, it's bye week. I'm not looking. I feel something in my hammy. I don't think that's a problem here. I know it isn't. But Tom Telesco is evaluating everyone in the locker room, in their personal life when they leave the building, how early they get there, how hard do they practice. Because Tom Telesco is going to build a new football team next year. We're not going to have this again. I mean, we hope not. It's just a bizarre year. A lot of guys got injured, a lot of starters. I was telling Bobby that these guys got hurt and they're gone for the year. Yeah. Normally guys get hurt and then they come back. Christian Wilkins gone for the year. Marcus Epps gone for the year. Michael Mayer hasn't been available all year. How does that happen? I mean, we got guys who Malcolm Kuntz got injured. He's one of our best players. He's not coming back in week 9 or 10. He's gone for the year. So we're going to have a completely different year next year, but it's Halloween. It's the Raider holiday. Halloween. We're not talking April, man. So the guys got to play hard the rest of the way. It's Thursday. I'd like your prediction for the game right now for the rest of the show. Bill Krakenberger, America's favorite sports gambler, joins us at the bottom of the hour. So if you'd like to get through here, 702-365-9200. You got to play this team hard and beat them. They knocked us out of the playoffs with Derek Carr and Waller a couple of years ago in Cincinnati. A lot of guys are still on the roster from that. I think Levi said 8 guys or more. You got to beat a team that hasn't won at home. How great would it be? Remember, the Raiders beat Cleveland and Baltimore. How cool would this season be if the Raiders they lost to Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's a lot better than I thought. It would be nice this year if the Raiders at the end of the year said we beat Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, right? Both of them were healthy. That'd be kind of cool. Hey, Max beat and the team beat Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. That'd be fun. Wouldn't be great, but it'd be okay. It's our Halloween game on the road. So that's where we're going. 702-365-9200. I think it's important to realize that this team pride and poise is not a joke. Mark Davis takes it very seriously. The team's got to find a way to go out and win and get some things done and do this. And I don't know how they're going to do it unless they find a way to step up and play well and play at a very high level. And a high level would be what they've done the last couple of weeks, which has been pretty cool. Last couple of weeks, they've come out of the gate and they were either tied or had the lead. They either tied or had the lead, and now they're in a situation where they have to extend the lead. And they should be able to do it. Oh, one last thing, Bobby, I want to say on the record. On the record, I wanted Desmond Ridder to start this game. I normally don't go there. You know, if you've been listening to me for 27 minutes or 27 years, I haven't been in a scenario where I could say that. I covered Rich Gannon. Never heard me say I want Rich not to play. I covered Derek Carr's entire career here, 9 years. Never once did I say that Derek needed to be benched. Not once. Derek played poorly in some games, but overall he was very good. This is the first time in a long time I could recall saying, and you didn't hear me either say, sit Jimmy down for Aiden. How about that? You know, Jimmy didn't play well, but you know, I kind of was like, I'll go with Jimmy. And they played Aiden, which is okay. But now I'm sitting here saying, put Desmond Ridder in as the starter in Cincinnati where he was a star, a celebrity. Let him play in this game. I mean, he's good. He might be a lot better than Gardner. Why are we waiting for the bye week? And if we wait for the bye week, we'll see him in Miami. Antonio Pierce discussed yesterday about Luke Getsy as the play caller for this organization.
A lot of opportunities for us to score points and make opportunities. And yeah, that's on the play caller. But then also, like I told our staff and I told our players, is all of us. It's not. It's easy to sit here and just point the finger at Luke or myself, but you look at O-line play, quarterbacks, the running backs, turnovers, missed blocks, missed execution on plays, alignments, the details. All those things have to get cleaned up. So yeah, it does start with the coordinator. He's got to be the one that takes the fall for that and gets most of the blame. But it is collective.
Wow, that's pretty intense. Takes the blame, takes the fall. Yeah, a lot of Raider fans noticed that comment. What do you want to do? You want to tell Luke Getsy everything's smooth and great? It's not. He knows it. He knows what he's got to do. He's putting together the best game plan with the talent that he has. Here's Coach Pierce on any way to get Ridder in the game coming up.
Yeah, much better this week than last week. I mean, we got him in there. We're here till 10, 11 o'clock at night trying to get him up to speed. Had a package for him. But if you really look at the game, I think we had a 12-play series, 10-play series to start the game off, and then the next time we got the ball was in a 2-minute situation. So just trying to get him in the flow of the game. Don't want to interrupt what we're doing as well for moving the ball. But I think, as we go on throughout this week and out the season, you just got to find ways to get him in the game. He has an element, obviously, with his athleticism and playing experience to help us out.
I like that. I like that soundbite, right? That's pretty important. I think Coach wants to get Desmond Ridder in the game to see what he has. Maybe if he flashes really well and he plays great, not good, he could be here long term. I'm not saying that they're not going to get a quarterback in the draft. I think we all want that. But it'd be nice to see this guy play. And that's what it's going to be. It could end up being excellent. I don't remember Ridder playing a lot. I went back and looked at all the stats. But I do remember him coming into games with Atlanta where he was explosive. He was really good. And maybe he could do that. But he's not going to start. It'll be Gardner Minshew. And, again, let me make this point again. We all like Gardner Minshew. We do. You would like him. If you sat down with a bucket of Modelo's and some hot wings and sat down with Gardner Minshew, you'd probably love the guy. We lose track of that. But Gardner had a beautiful opportunity here to dominate and be great. And it's not all on him. There's a lot of injuries. And I think the injuries have affected him. Not having Michael Mayer available is big because he's an offensive line horse who can catch the ball. Devontae won it out. He won it out for a long time. He's not here. Think about Gardner Minshew for a second in the meetings without Michael Mayer and Devontae Adams. You think that's fair? You think that's fair for Gardner? Gardner didn't sign up for that. He'll play with anybody. But again, the criticism is fair, but you also have to hear a little bit of me when I sprinkle a little reality dust over what's going on here. Very difficult opportunity now for the Raiders to win games with the personnel they have. So that's where we're at. One of my favorite interviews whenever I do it is coming up next. Bill Krakenberger. He's America's favorite sports gambler. He's a winner. He gambles big money, big money. Every casino in town knows him when he walks in the door. They're aware of him. And he always has fun stories about casino giveaways and what to be careful for and all that. So he was available today. I said, let's lighten it up a bit and talk to him. And as I tweeted out, I think we do gambling the right way. We don't put on these guys and gals who are just there to be influencers. You know, Bobby, there's some things now called they're social media influencers. So I don't mind anybody coming on, you know, television or radio saying, here's who I'm betting this weekend. I don't care about that. You got guys who are great at it. Steve Fezzik, right? You got people that have won contests. They're very good. The problem is there's a bunch of people, outliers there, who are awful. And they're scam artists. And they give out picks. And they're backed by legitimate companies because they're social media influencers. And I'm not saying that everybody, you know, gives them business. But this is the wild, wild west of sports gambling. These are the baby years. As one guy told me, I'll bring it up with Bill. This is the pioneer years. Remember Lonesome Dove and 1883 and Yellowstone when everyone went out west and they didn't know what was out west? That's what's going on with sports gambling now. Because all these companies are coming in here and they're trying to get all these young kids who are 21 and older, and they're trying to lasso them in. Trying to get them in and trying to get them not addicted to gambling, but used to it. And no one knows how to win. Literally no one. Every year there's like 2 guys that are over 52%. You're like, who are they? Get them on the show. Well, we got one, Bill Krackenberger, next. He'll tell you how to win, or at least what he thinks. And we have a special announcement tomorrow. Mark Jones, who runs the Black Hole, is going to come on and talk about a joint project that I have with the Black Hole in Miami. Ooh, yeah. Wife and I are going to Miami. So we're going next week for bye week to Florida. Then we're coming all the way home to interview the coach. And then we're going right back to Miami with Raider Nation. So that's going to be fun. Be pretty nice. I'm looking forward to that. Mike at La Casa Cigars, right there in Tivoli Village, right next to the DeGasta Verde Law Group. If you want a good cigar, good cocktails, they carry everything that we have here. Remy Martin. I want to thank Tori and the entire team, Brody, everybody there at Remy Martin. They had a beautiful event for us last night. Remy Martin, Team Up for Excellence, proud partner of our show. Yeah, we're going to keep the YouTube going for Bill Krackenberger so you can hear him. He's pretty good.
Good morning, tailgate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
You know, a lot of lawyers who advertise here don't even live here. If they say Nevada, they're not from around here. If they think our capital is Las Vegas, they're not from around here. I'm Richard Harris, and I am from Nevada. I grew up here. I went to school here. I raised my family here. No one knows Nevada like we do. If you've been injured, call me, Richard Harris, of the Richard Harris Law Firm, 444-4444, just in case.
Get ready to raid the pubs this football season at BT's Gold, BT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. Enjoy ice cold $4 pints of Coors Light, Topo Chico, and $5 pints of Modelo, plus game day food.
All right, let's pay attention to the chat. Okay, let's do that. My son says, Dad, you got to get in the chat. I am in the chat. What's going on? Ben Johnson might not want to come here. Why would he come here? What's going on? Count Bricula. Yeah, man, that was a great costume. And Big D, it wasn't blackface. That's very controversial. I had the white, I had the red, I had the Count Bricula back in the day. We got to find that, by the way. Man, do we have an old picture of that in my memories? I haven't looked at my memories today. Bob Costas just announced his retirement, whatever that means. That's why I love Facebook. You can go into your memories and see if you can find anything. Yeah, no, Count Bricula.
That's lame.
That wasn't lame. It was actually a pretty good costume.
Oh, Bricula?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm asking my wife if she has that picture.
Experience the future of payments with Shift 4, the official payments partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Visit shift4.com to learn more. All work and no play makes for one boring ass week.
Hey, Bill, it's Bobby with JT. How you doing? Good, Joe. Get up to JT. Give me about 2 minutes. Can you?
Hey, Bobby, ask him.
Hey, JT asked me to ask you a compliment who you really like. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. JT wanted to know a couple topics you really like. Well, a couple topics, whatever. Prop bets, whatever.
Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job.
Caesar's price is out of control. Okay.
Zap Auto has expanded into one of the largest independent auto repair shops in the valley with 23 bays.
Well, that's funny. He just mentioned that 5 minutes ago. Cool. I'll let him know. Thanks, Bill. Hang on. Yeah, the influencer thing also.
Yeah.
All right. And it's gonna be Graham coming back about 20 seconds.
Yeah, try to save this and send this to me. I want to see if my son can put up a reel or two on this.
All right.
The JT the Brick Show is brought to you by Remy Martin. Team up for excellence.
Our part is the defense. Them from having less points than our. So that's our part. So that's all that matters. It all matters in terms of on Sundays. Between Sundays is about improving and winning the day. So today we got a big day today, Thursday. There was great energy in the room today. There's great energy in the walkthrough. I'm excited to see how practice goes today and see how we win Thursday today, and then get in the meetings later and win those meetings right there. But our job, and it hasn't changed, is always to keep the offense, to keep the opposing team's offense from having less points than our offense or points of the team. So that's our job. So that job description will never change for us. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but that's how I operate. You see, I'm not tensed up, but like that's our job. I don't care how many points we got to keep down to.
It's Patrick Graham. He seems worked up. He's going to be a head coach at some point. He wants to play better and call better plays on defense. JT, back with you, brought to you by the M Resort Spa and Casino. That's the official hotel of the Silver and Black, the Raiders team hotel, the M Resort Spa and Casino. You know, I love talking to Bill Krakenberger. He's America's favorite sports gambler. He's on multiple platforms trying to help you win or at least stay away from the pitfalls. Crack, how you been, man? Happy Halloween. How are you?
Hey, JT, happy Halloween to you. Yeah, one of the rare nights that I actually will go out downtown tonight just to see all the lunatics. My wife and I walk around for a little while. It's fun.
I love it. And it's great because great restaurants downtown, as you know. You know where. Let's get into the restaurant category before we get into gaming. You know, when I go downtown, Hugo Cellars, I'm a big Chef Barry guy, as you know. What are some of your go-tos there? Because you look for value. Could be in a casino or it could be a restaurant off the beaten path.
Well, it's funny. When it comes to dinners, the quality is more than value to me for the dinners. I support a lot of mom and pop places for breakfast in the morning around town. But I will go to those two places there. Chef Barry's unbelievable over there at Circa Barry's. I also do love going over to the D. The D has a great Italian restaurant. I've been going there since literally they opened the door. The chef is from Detroit. Mm-hmm. The name escapes me right now. Diamo, I think it's Diamo. It's fantastic, though. I will go there also. The Golden Nugget has a Vic and Anthony Steakhouse. I like the old-fashioned darker. You go in, It's the dark teak woods, the old-fashioned pictures, photos on the wall. I love that place. Just in general, I do like to support the places that have been around. Like you said, Hugo's Wine Cellar. What a classy place. All the girls get a rose when they come in there. It's down in the basement. It's just unbelievable. So you've mentioned we got 4 different places downtown to go. And, that's downtown in a nutshell, the real good places to go, in my opinion.
Bill Krackomberger is our guest. We're going to spend the most of our time talking about these social media influencers compared to what you do as a guy who bets consistently, at times large amounts. You know what you're doing. We mentioned the other ones in town who are successful. They have the one contest or they have long-term track records. When did you see the influencers start to pop up, male and female, and they're more about lighting and their Instagram or their outfit, and they're trying to get young people, my son's age, or kids between 21 and above who have never gambled, they're trying to reel them in and get their business?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I'll first start out with you text me about people tracking their records in the space. And, not calling anyone out individually, but you're absolutely spot on with that text you sent me. Just that nobody tracks what they give out, because if their producers or the shows tracked what they gave out, they would be made fun of because nobody wins. There's not too many people in the space that talk a good game and actually win. First of all, I'd like to know they even bet their own money. Some don't even bet their own money, and that does bother me too, that no one keeps records. And you have to keep records. You have to be a long-term winning gambler. I don't want to know what you did the last 5 or 10 days. I don't want to know what you did the last month. I want to know what you've done for the quarter or the year. I want to know. And if that has to be exposed, there will never be a show because they'll be laughed out of the business. So going to the influencers, they're absolutely out of control. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not only men. It's the females trying to attract the young men that are 21, 22, 23, 24. You're absolutely right. Every college in America has a gambling problem. No one likes to talk about that. Ooh, Bill, be careful. You make your living gambling, and you're talking about colleges having gambling problems. That's right, because guess what, JT? If I lose every position I have, all the media positions, the money coming in, not that it doesn't make a difference to me, but to be honest with you, I'm still going to be able to make my money betting sports for a living. These people have to mop floors for a living because they can't do anything like gambling for a living like they supposedly say they do, or they're winning gamblers. So appealing to these young crowds, to the kids, it's just out of control. The stadiums, every stadium I go to, wherever I go, the advertisements are up there. They're trying to appeal to the younger crowds, and I know what it is to be a younger crowd. I'm gambling since I'm 7, 8, 9 years old, parlay cards, and playing with the local bookmaker, and it becomes real easy. And it's out of control all over America now, not just in the states that were passed. Once passport was reversed, it's nationwide. It doesn't matter where you go. You're within 3 hours of a casino. Everything looks fashionable now. Everyone's talking about it. Like I said, it should be done responsibly, is all I say. What I teach on my Twitter space, I always talk about responsible gambling, how to beat the books, how to win at certain things, not to bet NFL straight bets all the time, not to bet with a lot of these idiots on TV that say to bet, because they're not putting their own money up.
Bill Krackomberger is our guest. So I'm all right with the ESPN, Fox, wherever it is, that when they say, all right, we're going to take one of our celebrity hosts and we're going to give them a commercial. I said it last night. I'm watching the World Series. I think it was Mike Greenberg. There's a commercial for him at a Starbucks or a coffee place with the betting. And I said, all right, he's a big guy at ESPN. He's been there forever. They're trying to build a platform for him. And they're doing that everywhere. And these are guys who typically don't gamble and they don't have a track record. I'm talking about when other companies hire these influencers and put them on their payroll. So they got to send them through human resources. They got to get them, to sign paperwork. And then they let them in these companies, and then they're gone. They're gone a year later or a month later, and still, are these big companies so desperate because they're signing up gamblers at such a high rate? It costs them so much money per player that they got to get some type of return, so they'll hire anybody to peddle these picks.
The cost of customer acquisition has gone through the roof, and they probably realize They want people that appeal to a certain crowd. The 21 to 35-year-old male is really who they want to appeal to. But actually, you want to know what's going to surprise you, JT? You wouldn't believe sometimes some of these people, they get on there, and they're actually going to influence and appeal to some of the females, the housewives. And they, they talk about the gambling games. It's not just the sports betting. To be real honest with you, these big companies, they would actually put sports betting secondly, and they would like to book nothing but people that play online slots, online blackjack, and, online roulette, because that's where they're making a ton of the money. It's a built-in natural value to the customer, and the customer doesn't even know how to play the games to begin with, and they're already playing a 5% game. And let me just be honest with you. I am a little bit cynical. I don't know if I'm playing against a computer, I'll play against a live dealer maybe. Maybe I'll do that, and I'll be able to count cards. I'll do that, but they're not going to like it for that long, I'll tell you that much. But that's who they're appealing to, the 21 to 35 crowd. But I know someone recently that called me up and said his wife's out of control, gambling every night. Literally losing the kids' college money. I'm not joking. It's a sad situation, really, to hear this particular story of a friend of mine back in New Jersey. But so that's really who they're appealing to, and they're hiring all these people and trying them out. Like you said, they could be gone in a month. If that ad campaign didn't work, they go on to the next athlete, star, or coach, or whoever it is.
Bill Krakenberger, Crack Wins, one of the best of the best. So tonight, my wife and I are heading down to the Strip, big casino resort property, to have dinner with my best friend's mom, who's in town with their sister. And I'm gonna go to dinner, and I'm gonna park. I don't have one of these player cards because I don't gamble, so I'm gonna pay to park. I used to never have to do that. Not the end of the world, but you add that to your dinner. And then they're coming out after dinner and they're giving me a machine that starts off at 20%, 25. Whatever they're going to ask me for the tip, no problem. I love to tip, especially great service. What is going on the casino corridor with just casinos, parking, tipping, the fees and all that, resorts fees and everything? Tell our national audience what to keep an eye on if you're coming to Vegas, and maybe AC, if you want to tie it in there too, on how to save money when you park your car as soon as you pull in.
You know what's funny? My dad used to go to Atlantic City when he was alive, and he would not go to any casino in Atlantic City that he had to pay to park. If he couldn't park for free, he wouldn't go. And you're talking about a guy used to go to Atlantic City with $500 or $1,000 back in the 90s and early 2000s. And, because these casinos don't realize that, people are loyal to where they don't have to pay or where they're allowed to park free for so many hours. So here in Vegas, for locals, there are some casinos that give you 3 hours or 4 hours free parking. I do like that. As a matter of fact, next time I see you, I'm going to have a card for each property for you to use of mine, this way you never have to pay. But just to make you laugh a little bit. But however, you're right. When people come to town, they're not aware of these parking fees. They go rent a car, and they're already paying, triple the rates from the last 5 years renting cars. Now they have to pay $25, $30 a day just to rent, just to pay to park. They're out of control, but all the casinos are doing it. So, hey, it's not like they can go next door for free parking if they're tourists. So that's just something. It's another way for the casinos. It's a business within a business. They're actually generating revenue in that part of the business. It's so much, they make so much money at it that they have 2 or 3 people in the parking lots that they pay. That's their job. They're in charge of parking. So that's a business within itself. As far as the fees and stuff, the tips are out of control. Even at the airport, JT, I bought a bottle of water. By the way, I'm spending $6.50 on a bottle of water. I just said, imagine if my old-fashioned Italian mother knew I was spending $6.50 on a bottle of water. She would kill me. But so $6.50 for a bottle of water. Now, do I want to add a tip of, you're right, 20% for a bottle of water? I mean, they're trying to condition the new society, that under 30 crowd again, trying to condition them just to pay their employees more money because they don't want to pay them. It's sickening what's going on. You go to any casino now, even the casinos, all the Starbucks, the coffee shops, everywhere you go, I'm used to tipping. I love tipping. Trust me. My life, if I only knew how much money I tipped a month, it's insane. But I tip for service. I tip to keep my car in front. I tip for a table. I tip to get in restaurants. I'm not going to tip just when someone's handing me something out of a refrigerator. Well, that's not service. They should pay their employees more money. It's out of control. You're spot on.
Bill, I just want to catch one thing you said there and clarify that. So you're saying they're trying to condition this new younger generation to have the built-in tip, to say, okay, your choice on this machine is minimum 20%. I mean, I go to arenas, and I'll say it here because we're arena friendly here in Vegas. I go to an arena. I walk up to the human being. They don't turn around. They right there pour me my beverage, and it's right there. It's $23 a beer, and they want 20% on it. So the new generation, are you saying they're not smart enough? Because you can put custom tip in and put $2 in instead of 20%. And I just think these young kids, 25 years old, they just swipe the credit card and they hit 20 or 25 and they walk away.
I've seen it already. I've seen these kids that are there, like even your kids' age.
Yeah.
They just don't realize it. They just think it's normal. Like I said, they're trying to condition the new kids to this way. But what it's doing is they're trying to make you pay their salaries. Now, I'm not talking about the employees behind the counter. I feel bad for them if they're not getting enough money. But like even In-N-Out Burger here in town, I see signs in the window for overnight shifts, $18, $20 an hour. So at least they're paying people. There's some of the casinos here are unbelievable. You can make more on an outside property working a fast food joint than you could working in a billion-dollar casino corporation. It's out of control. I agree.
Bill, last one, because you're a big player. I got a buddy of mine who's a big player. When he stays here, his valet parking's included. Everything's included. When he leaves, they just scrub everything because he's playing 500, 1,000 a hand, and he's playing 10 hours or 12 hours. What do you do if you're a tourist or if you're a local? You want to tip these valets. You and I were here decades ago. It was free to pull right up to the front of the casino. You pull a 20 out, boom. You come out, you pull a 20 out. It's $40. You've been there all night. Now you got to pay. I saw $75 to valet. I was emceeing an event on the Strip. $75 to valet, or they said valet was full. How do you deal with the valets?
You know, I actually give the money to keep my car up front. A lot of times, you know, I get it. I have a card that you can park for anywhere in town at the casinos. But I noticed this. Like, I go to Joe's Stone Crab, which is one of my favorite restaurants there, Joe's, at the Forum Shops. So there it's like $12 or $8. I'll give the guy $20. Say, hey, buddy, here's 20. Just leave my car up front. Listen, these guys are all, I don't mean to rat them out, but they're all working for cash tips. Someone hands someone $20, $25. They're going to leave your car up front. Most of the times you don't have to even pay for the valet charge because no one's giving them $25. And these guys are making less money now, JT, because people are pissed off. They have to pay for valet. So what do? They take it out on the poor valets, the drivers. So I'll look to tip them right up front. I don't tip them on the way out. I give them a 20 right up front, leave my car up front, depending on what night it is. Sometimes it's got to be more if it's the weekend. So you're spot on again.
What a great conversation. We never talked once about sports gambling. We didn't mention one thing. So on the way out, is it harder to win with the NFL or college football this year? You personally, and what are you hearing around town from the bookmakers? Who's winning? Is it easier in college football or the NFL?
College football is much easier. The NFL this year has buried, and I mean buried the bettors. Up until the last few weeks, literally, we had like 6 weeks in a row where the bettors lost. The first weeks of the season, the bookmakers made more money than they made all of last season. That's how strong it's been. College football is easier to beat. I also like to bet football props. Something that's not efficient. In other words, the NFL market's very efficient. It's on every single network, covered by everyone. The bookmaker can get that line right. However, they're not going to get over-under yards by Aaron Rodgers right because there's so many different props they have to put out. I can beat that. Beating NFL sides, nearly impossible.
You're the best. What a great conversation. Always a pleasure to have you on. I'll see you around town soon.
Thanks, JT. Take care.
Wow, how good was that? I mean, that... Bobby, if there was a podcast award for that interview, and I had nothing to do with it, it was all him. God, that's good. He just gave you the whole way to navigate Las Vegas in about 15 minutes. He told you parking, tipping, what's happening around town. And I like having Bill's a storyteller. That's why he's so important to this space, which is sports gambling, because I think sports gambling is done so poorly. It's done so poorly because it's so young. right? I think 10 years from now, you're going to turn on a sports gambling channel. And we got great guys in town. You know, my buddy Paulie Howard, who I worked with, other guys. You got to be able to tell stories about gambling instead of just saying Fresno State, Oregon State, -4.5. This is what no one cares. No one cares what these guys are saying. They care about what the winners like Krakenberger say because he's famous for winning. So when I drive around on a Saturday, Bobby, and I'm driving to go run an errand or do something, and I hear a sports radio show, these are young guys. They're just starting in the business. I want them to do well. I've been there, done that already. I don't want them giving out picks. Their picks suck. They don't know what they're doing. They're not pros. And their program director is letting them do that because the program director is getting a little bit of money from one of these casino companies. And they're like, man, we got to pick some games. All right, well, don't let your weekend midday guy pick any games. He sucks. Let him have a guest on like Bill Krakenberger or Lee Sterling, who we had on today, and maybe give a couple of picks. And if they're wrong, they're going to tell you they're wrong. So that's our sports game. We had a good week. Bill Krakenberger, Lee Sterling, Jeff Sherman, all of our insiders who come on here. All right, I'm going to go out on the strip tonight, have a nice dinner with some family in town. My best friend's mom, that's family to me, and his sister. And then we're going to go figure out something else to do. Man, there's a lot going on in this town. Raiders are out of town. We got an early start on Sunday on the Raiders pregame show. Thank you, everybody, for the 54 people that are left here. That's dedication. Thank you to the bricklayers, the best of the best. Imagine what's going to happen when we have 40,000 subscribers. Don't know when. Don't know how. We're going to have to do it all the time. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for our Friday edition. Don't miss it.